Welcome to PA School. You're about to embark on an exciting and challenging journey, and I'm here to help you prepare for what's ahead. Here's what I know will likely be true from my PA School experience. Now, your experience might be completely different. You might love PA School and everything might be rainbows and butterfly and sunshine for you. But in this video, I'm sharing my real life experience and the experience of most of the PAs I've spoken to. Now, you might already know this, but you have a massive amount of student loan debt. Unless you have mommy or daddy paying for your school tuition, or you have a full ride scholarship, which shout out to Chapman University for offering that. Well, if you don't, then you're gonna have a ton of student loan debt to pay for your education. And when you start PA School, during the first week of orientation, you'll be given a bunch of paperwork to fill out. Paperwork that have a huge impact on your finances for the next 5 to 10 years. So pay attention, because during this time, you will start to learn about your financial aid options and how student loans actually work. You'll learn how to use financial aid to cover the cost of tuition and living expenses. And you'll learn about the terms and condition of the student loans and the repayment process. But here's the truth. You probably have no idea what you're signing when you're signing those financial aid documents, even if you read all of the fine prints below. And I'm speaking from experience. I read every single document that was given to me. I did my due diligence. I thought I knew exactly what I was signing, but I had no idea. I didn't understand how APR or interest really works when it came to borrowing money. But I signed on the dotted line anyways, because everybody around me was doing it. And I didn't have any other options to finance my education. So I lived on borrowed money like it was free money. Now, borrowed money is not free money. It is borrowing money from the government with a shit ton of interest. Interest that accounts for $30,000 to $80,000 over the course of 5 to 10 years. But the adults, they don't tell you that. They just suggest that you sign up for the 10-year repayment plan, and that's all you know. So for me, I took out the max amount of loan that was available to me because that was what was recommended by my school. Was that the best decision? No. Did I regret that decision? 100%. I could have lived on a lot less, and I could have walked out of PA School with a lot less debt. But at the time, nobody told me. Nobody told me anything at all. And I didn't know that I needed to learn this stuff before I entered PA School. So be very cautious in how much money you accept from the government, and don't spend that money like it's free money. Learn to live on a budget, a very frugal budget, when you're in PA School and when you graduate PA School, when you still have that mountain of debt. And if all that money talk got you really nervous, don't worry, I got you. I got a free download just for you called the 10 Most Common Financial Mistakes That Keep You Poor. It's a really quick read, and I wish I had this document when I was in PA School. So click the link below to download it. You're going to experience imposter syndrome. In the first week of school, you're gonna look around the room and realize everyone here is really smart, like top of the class smart. Their parents may be surgeons or lawyers, and they might even graduate from a very prestigious school. And you're here thinking, wow, I certainly don't belong. I'm a fraud. This feeling is normal. And you're not gonna be able to escape this feeling for another 3 to 5 years, even after you graduated PA School. This feeling is called imposter syndrome. And imposter syndrome is a feeling of insecurity or self-doubt that can arise when you feel like you don't belong and you aren't qualified for a particular role. And because PA School is so demanding and so rigorous, you're gonna feel like you're constantly not good enough, no matter how hard you try. And you feel like you don't belong, even though you've been hand-selected to be a part of the program. And you are actually performing really well academically in the program. But none of that matters, because you feel a sense of overwhelmedness. Is that a word, overwhelmedness? Whatever, you feel very overwhelmed. You'll soon feel overwhelmed by the sheer volume of material that you need to master. And this can lead to a feeling of constant self-doubt, and it's a never-ending cycle. But guess what? You belong there. You deserve a seat at the table because you were hand-selected to be in that room. You weren't lucky to get in. It was years of hard work and perseverance that got you a seat at that table. So embrace that imposter syndrome. Please just embrace it and bury that negative voice. Because the truth is, everybody around you is feeling the same feeling, that same imposter syndrome, no matter how confident they may seem. Look at me right now. I am experiencing a significant amount of imposter syndrome telling you about PA school, even though I've been out of school 10 years ago. I still feel like an imposter being on YouTube, doing all this stuff. It never goes away. If you have any questions about imposter syndrome, comment below and I'll do an entire video all about how to overcome imposter syndrome in your 20s, your 30s, and even your 60s. You will need better study habits. The person that got you through undergrad isn't going to be the same person that's going to get you through PA school. And that's a really hard reality to accept. Think of it this way. In undergrad, you're expected to get through 4 chapters in 1 week. Well, now in PA school, you're expected to get to 10 to 12 chapters in 1 week. So that's volume, a massive amount of volume. And you'll be expected to study and learn a vast amount of information in a very short amount of time. And you'll need to be disciplined and laser focused in order to keep up with your coursework. And no, you're not gonna have time to make flashcards or memorize and highlight every piece of information you read, just like you did in undergrad. And you definitely cannot rely on your photographic memory to get you through PA school, because medicine is all about critical thinking. So you're going to have to figure out how to study effectively and efficiently. And you have to learn quickly what works for you and what doesn't, and adjust your study habits accordingly. The faster you figure this out, the faster you'll be able to develop a second brain and become a more productive student. It took me almost 2 semesters into PA school to realize that my study habits were terrible and that I would never survive PA school doing what I did in undergrad. So I studied my classmates to see what they were doing, how they were studying. I tried studying in small groups. I tried independent studying. I tried studying with different personalities. I highlighted everything. I made cards. I made charts. I did everything. I tried it all. And it took me too long to figure out how to study effectively. And during this time, because I didn't know how to do it well, I struggled tremendously with my mental health. Because during the didactic year, I kept thinking I would fail out of PA school every single day, and I have to carry this massive financial burden with me. So my biggest advice for you right now is figure out how to appropriately study in your first semester in PA school. Ask yourself this: will this method work when I'm trying to cram 10 chapters in 1 week and I have a test every single day? If the answer is no, you can't do that, then you need to immediately stop that habit and create new habits for yourself. And one more thing, you will need to be very selective in who you study with and how you choose what you study. Your study buddy is very important. Just because you connected with a classmate about Coachella or yoga doesn't mean you're gonna be the best study buddy. So choose wisely. But it's also important to remember that you can only study for so long. You need to prioritize your sleep so that you don't stay up all night cramming, because you're not gonna be able to perform well the next day. You will suffer an extreme amount of FOMO, fear of missing out. The minute you mindlessly scroll the social media, you're gonna think, wow, my life sucks right now. Because your feed is gonna be flooded with happiness. Everybody's happy except you. Your friends are getting into serious relationships, they're getting married, they're backpacking to Europe, and they're buying their first home. All the while, you're at home memorizing the difference between an ace and an arb. So this chapter in your life, it's gonna suck. And it's gonna make you question all of your life's decisions. Wondering if you're behind in life, chasing this career that you're not even sure you want anymore because it's so damn hard. And you're probably wondering, well, when am I gonna buy my first home? When am I gonna get into a serious relationship and maybe have a family and a baby? And here's something else that you have to consider. When you go home for the holidays, you're gonna see all your old friends. And you're gonna realize they're doing the exact same thing they've been doing before you left. Having the same conversations, doing the exact same thing, living the exact same life. While you're here, feeling like you're a completely different person, trying to build a career and a name for yourself. And you feel like you've been through the trenches, you've seen the dark side, but everybody around you is the same. And this internal realization, that's deep shit. Because you're gonna realize that you're going through an identity crisis. Because you're trying to hold on to who you were, but you're also trying to embrace the new you, the professional you, the PA you, all while trying not to fall apart. And that's hard. Because you'll see FOMO everywhere you turn. And FOMO will break you if you allow it. You may need to seek professional help. You will experience an abnormally high levels of stress when you're in school. And the Journal of Health Psychology found that PA students had a higher level of stress and a lower level of well-being compared to the general population. This means that you're a higher risk for mental health issues like depression, anxiety, and burnout compared to everybody else. That's because of long hours studying, large amount of coursework, high stakes exam, huge financial stress, and feelings of isolation and loneliness. And as you enter your clinical rotations, the intensity and the stress will only increase because now suddenly you're responsible for caring for actual patients. And you're dealing with all sorts of personalities with your preceptors. And everything around you will feel like life or death. And this is emotionally draining. And that's why most PA students feel like they can barely survive PA school. Because they really can't manage all the stress, the changes, and the emotions coming in all at once. And as a result, some, actually quite a lot, turn to medication and therapy. Towards my second year in PA school, I found out that most of my friends were on antidepressants or stimulants to help them get through school. And the data have shown that prescription medication for healthcare providers while in school has significantly increased throughout the years. And they suspect that this number may actually be underdocumented because these students don't want to report that they have mental health issues. Now, I don't think we should ever judge anyone who needs medication or therapy. In fact, I applaud them. I applaud these students for being self-aware and realizing they need help. PA school is tough, so seek help when you need it. Be aware of the warning signs. And whether you seek professional help or not, remember you need to prioritize yourself, self-care. And this starts with a regular exercise regimen, a healthy diet, adequate sleep, and taking time to do nothing but maybe doing you, whatever it is you like to do. So learn that it's gonna be tough and you might need help, but reach out if you do. You're gonna have mental breakdown all the time, every few weeks or even a few days. And this is normal. Okay, maybe not normal, but very common. At least for me, I cried every night during PA school, during the first semester, because, well, it was due to a series of events. Bad breakup, impostor syndrome, new city, FOMO, all of it, you name it, I cried over it. I was constantly worried that I wouldn't make it through PA school. Every test felt like it was my last test. Every day I walked around thinking I was gonna fail PA school when I would have this massive amount of debts that I couldn't pay back. And I would play these scenarios in my head all day long. How would I tell my parents I fail? How many jobs would I need to take on to pay off my debt? Every day. This fear, this anxiety, it kept me isolated and disconnected from the world. Even though I was physically surrounded by 50 classmates every day. Which leads me to my next point about your classmates. You may not bond with your classmates like you would imagine. I know you have high expectations for your relationships with your classmate during school. After all, you'll be spending a lot of time together and you may be relying on each other for support during your studies. But it is important to remember that life in PA school is not like what you see on TV, like in Grey's Anatomy. You might not have a Meredith or a Christina. You might not bond with your classmates or not even like your classmates at all, especially if you move from a new city that's far, far away from home. Now, these people, they may not be your people. They don't have the same cultural or political views, and they may not value the things you value. And that's okay, that's normal. So manage your expectations. But understand that these students, the ones that are going to the same program as you, they will be the same students, the same faces that you will see every day for the next 27 to 30 months. So you have to learn to develop some sort of relationship with them and connect with them. Now that's a learned skill. You don't have to be best friends with them, and you might not be even close friends, but you have to manage a good relationship with them because they're the only people who understand exactly what you're going through right now in this very moment. Befriend them, lean on them, use them as a resource because some of them, well, they will excel in interpreting EKGs, and others, they will teach you how to read a chest x-ray. And I promise you, the key to success in life is building these relationships. Your PA friends will forever be in your medical network. And they might get you a job one day. or connect you with somebody that might be very valuable to you one day. Because your net worth is closely tied to your net worth. You will have to learn to start adulting. Whether you want to or not, you have to set a regular sleep regimen and some sort of morning routine. You'll need a schedule and better habits. And you'll be forced to cook because you really can't afford to eat out all the time because you're living off borrowed money. Now, you don't have a regular income, so you have to be very cautious how you spend the money. So learn to manage your finances. Learn to reduce your stress and your anxiety without having to spend money. We all know that PA school comes with a mountain of anxiety, and if you can't decompress and learn to turn off study mode sanely, you're not gonna make it in the real world. It only gets worse when you get to being a real PA. It's a lot harder. So learn to manage things now when you can in your early 20s, because these habits, they compound, and you'll need to develop them now before it becomes a problem in your 30s and your 40s. Now, I don't know if that was a video you wanted because it was a little harsh, but I want to present you with both sides. So now that you've learned what to expect in PA school, the next step is to learn how to crush it in your rotation. So watch this video where I talk about how to interact with your patients, your supervising physicians, your preceptors, and how to adapt to a strong workplace dynamic. Let's talk more about PA stuff. So drop a comment, let me know what you want to learn and how I can better prepare you for the real world. And if you found this content to be valuable, please subscribe and let me know what you're going through, what's going on, and what more you would like to see in this channel. Until then, I will see you next time. Bye, guys.